Farming has been around forever, but its future? That depends on some seriously new thinking. Today, we're going to dig into a really cool project called SoilVET, which is all about planting the seeds for a brand new generation of agricultural education.
So what's this all about? Well, it really all comes down to one massive question. In a world that's constantly changing, with new technology and a shifting climate, how do we actually get the next generation of farmers ready for what's ahead? It's a huge deal, because, let's be honest, the answer affects the food on all of our plates.
All right, so to really get why a project like this is such a game changer, we've got to first talk about the problem. There's a big challenge that modern farming is facing right now. And here it is, the heart of the issue. On one side, you've got a lot of farm training that's still based on traditional methods, the way things have always been done. But on the other side, the reality of farming today is just a different world. It demands you know about smart greenhouses, digital tools, and sustainable practices. So you end up with this widening gap where education is struggling to keep pace with reality.
But you know what happens when there's a gap, right? Something new comes along to fill it. And that's where this project comes in. It's like planting a seed of hope right in that empty space. And that seed is called SoilVET.
So what is SoilVET exactly? The full name is a bit of a mouthful. Sustainable Organic Learning Initiatives in Vocational Education and Training. But what it really is an Erasmus Plus project. And that's key, because Erasmus Plus is basically a framework that lets amazing institutions from all over Europe team up for big, important goals. In this case, the goal was to completely transform farming education and boost awareness about climate change.
Now, you can't tackle something this big without a powerhouse team, right? So let's meet the international crew who made this all happen, the heroes behind the whole project. Okay, check out this lineup. Leading the charge, you've got the Çubuk District Directorate of National Education in Turkey. They were the coordinators, keeping the whole ship steering straight. They'd teamed up with the Ankara Development Agency, which brought that crucial local know-how. Then, from Slovakia, you had an organization called Drživa, adding a fresh, innovative perspective. And to top it all off, Italy's University of Bari Aldo Moro brought in the deep academic and research muscle. You mix all that together, and you've got a true international powerhouse.
So you have this incredible team. The big question is, how do they actually take these great ideas and make them real? Well, it involved a strategic mission across 3 different countries, diving right into the heart of modern agriculture.
This wasn't just a series of meetings. It was a full-on intelligence-gathering operation. First up, they kicked things off in Ankara, Turkey. That's where the mission really caught fire. Then they were off to Slovakia to see the latest and greatest in farming tech with their own eyes. And finally, they all met up in Italy to really dig into the different national curricula, comparing notes and figuring out what works best.
Okay, so after all that groundwork, all that travel, and all that collaboration, it was finally harvest time. And believe me, the results were amazing. Let's dig into what they actually produced.
And wow, what a harvest it was. We're talking a whole treasure trove of practical knowledge. They created free online courses on really critical stuff like agroecology and smart greenhouses. They put together this super detailed report comparing farming education in different countries and a guide to help teachers bring their methods into the 21st century. They even published a book about new careers popping up because of climate change. These aren't just abstract reports, they're real, tangible tools for people to use.
And here's maybe the best part of all. Every single one of these valuable materials, it's all online at their website, soilvet.net. Available to anyone, anywhere, completely free. I mean, that's what democratizing knowledge is all about, right?
But look, creating amazing resources is one thing. Getting them into people's hands is a whole other challenge. So that brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle. How do you share these seeds of change and make sure they actually grow? And their strategy for this was just brilliant. It was a two-pronged attack, really. On one hand, they focused on putting down local roots. Think about it, poster contests in Turkey, getting the community involved, building awareness right there at the grassroots level. But at the exact same time, they were aiming for global reach. They took their findings to big international academic conferences, sharing what they learned with researchers and policymakers from all over the world.
It's a strategy that ensures the knowledge can both take root and take flight. It gets planted firmly in the local community where it can grow, but it also spreads its wings and travels the globe. Just a fantastic approach.
At the end of the day, the SoilVET project is more than just a success story. It's an incredible blueprint for what's possible. But the work is never really done. Which leaves us all with a big forward-looking question to chew on. What's the next bright idea that's going to help us build a more sustainable future?